Have you ever spoken to a child in anger and later wished you could take your words back? Have you ever felt like your child does not listen to you anymore? Or maybe you have sat in the same house with your child every day, but deep inside the relationship still feels distant. Now let me ask you something very honestly. When your child makes a mistake, do they feel safe enough to talk to you? Or do they fear your reaction? Because here is something many families are discovering today. Many problems in families are not caused by a lack of love. They are caused by a lack of communication. Some parents love their children deeply, but they do not know how to communicate with them. Some children want to express themselves, but they fear being ignored, judged, shouted at, or misunderstood. And slowly, silence grows inside the home. That is why today's lesson is very important. Today on HopeRise Channel, we are talking about communication. And we begin with this powerful saying: a wise person fills their brain before emptying their mouth. Think about that carefully. Wise people do not speak carelessly. Wise people think before they react. Wise people listen before they judge. Wise people understand before they respond. And this is one of the greatest skills every parent and caregiver must learn. Because communication is not only about talking. Communication is about connection. It is about understanding. It is about helping children feel heard, respected, valued, and safe. And when communication becomes healthy inside a family, relationships become stronger, children become more open, trust grows, conflicts reduce, and families become places of peace instead of fear. Communication is one of the foundations of positive parenting. A child who cannot communicate safely at home may begin hiding emotions, struggles, fears, mistakes, and pain. But a child who feels heard becomes more confident and emotionally healthy. This is why communication matters so much. Now let us be honest. Many adults today grew up in homes where communication was difficult. Some grew up in homes where children were told, "Keep quiet. Do not question adults. Stop crying. Children should be seen, not heard." And because of this, many people entered adulthood without learning healthy communication. Some people learned shouting instead of listening. Others learned silence instead of expression. Others became afraid to speak honestly. But positive parenting is teaching us something important. Children need communication to grow emotionally healthy. Not just instructions. Not just commands. Not just punishment. Real communication. Communication filled with listening, understanding, patience, and respect. Now, this does not mean children should disrespect parents. No, parents still guide and lead the home. But healthy communication allows children to express their thoughts and feelings safely. And this helps children build emotional confidence. The guide in this module teaches us something powerful. Good communication creates an atmosphere of trust, understanding, and openness in the family. When children feel safe communicating, they become more willing to share their experiences, struggles, fears, and even mistakes. But when communication is harsh or dismissive, children slowly close their hearts. And this can become dangerous. Some children stop talking completely. Others begin lying to avoid punishment. Others seek emotional connection outside the home. And some suffer silently with emotional pain. This is why communication is not a small issue. Communication can either strengthen a family or slowly destroy the connection inside the home. Now, let us talk about listening. Many people think communication is mainly about speaking. But one of the greatest communication skills is listening. Real listening. Not interrupting. Not judging immediately. Do not prepare your answer while the child is still talking. True listening means giving attention. It means making the child feel important. Imagine a child comes home from school looking sad. One parent may ignore them completely. Another may quickly say, "Stop being dramatic." But a wise parent may ask calmly, "You seem quiet today. What happened?" That simple question can open a child's heart. Sometimes children do not need perfect answers. Sometimes they simply need someone who listens. The communication guide also teaches parents to create conversations during everyday moments. This is very important. Communication should not happen only during discipline. Some parents only talk seriously to children when there is a problem. But healthy communication grows through daily connection. Talk while cooking. Talk while walking. Talk during meals. Talk while doing chores. Talk before bedtime. Simple conversations build strong relationships. Ask questions like, how was your day? What made you happy today? What challenged you today? What are you thinking about lately? What dreams do you have? These small conversations build emotional closeness, and emotional closeness protects children. Now let us discuss something many parents struggle with: reacting emotionally before thinking. Remember the saying, a wise person fills their brain before emptying their mouth. Words are powerful. Words can heal. Words can encourage. Words can destroy. Some adults still remember painful words spoken to them many years ago. Words like, you are useless. You will never succeed. You are stubborn. You are a disappointment. These words may seem small to adults, but they can deeply wound a child emotionally. Positive parenting teaches us to correct behavior without destroying identity. Correct the action. Do not attack the child's worth. For example, instead of saying, you are lazy, say, this responsibility was not completed well. Let us improve it. There is a difference. One destroys identity. The other teaches responsibility. Wise communication protects the dignity of the child. Now, let us talk about communication during conflict. Conflict happens in every family. Children make mistakes. Parents become stressed. Disagreements happen. But how we communicate during conflict matters greatly. Some families communicate through shouting, others through insults, others through silence and avoidance. But positive communication teaches calm discussion and problem solving. This does not mean emotions disappear. It means emotions are managed wisely. When anger rises, pause before speaking. Sometimes, silence for a moment is wiser than words spoken in anger. Angry words often create wounds that remain long after the argument ends. Now, let us talk about communication with teenagers. Many parents struggle during this stage. Teenagers begin developing independence. They ask more questions. They may challenge ideas. They may become quieter emotionally. And some parents react with fear or control. But teenagers need communication more than ever. This is the stage where children begin making bigger decisions about friendships, identity, relationships, and behavior. If communication breaks down during this stage, children may seek guidance from unhealthy influences. Parents must learn to listen without overreacting. This helps teenagers feel safe opening up. Now, let us discuss communication and emotional safety. Children should feel emotionally safe inside the home. This means they should not fear humiliation whenever they express feelings. A child should feel safe saying, I am sad. I am struggling. I made a mistake. I need help. This emotional safety becomes very important for mental health. Children who grow up emotionally heard often become emotionally healthier. Adults. Now the guide also addresses communication with children with disabilities or developmental challenges. This is very important. Not every child communicates the same way. Some children may struggle with speech. Others may struggle to understand instructions. Others may communicate through gestures, facial expressions, pictures, or behavior. Positive parenting teaches patience and understanding. Communication is not only words. Sometimes behavior itself is communication. For example, a child who suddenly becomes aggressive may be communicating emotional stress. A child who becomes withdrawn may be communicating fear or sadness. A child who misbehaves constantly may be asking for attention or support. Wise caregivers try to understand the message behind the behavior. This changes parenting completely. Instead of only asking, how do I stop this behavior? We begin asking, what is this child trying to communicate? Now let us discuss sensitive conversations. Some conversations are difficult. Topics like separation, divorce, death, financial struggles, disabilities, trauma, mistakes, safety issues. These conversations require wisdom and calmness. Children should not always be hidden from reality completely, but information should be shared in ways appropriate to their age and emotional level. For example, if a parent is leaving for work far away, communication helps reduce fear. Instead of disappearing silently, explain gently. Children feel safer when adults communicate honestly and calmly. The guide also encourages parents to talk positively. This matters greatly. Some families communicate mostly through correction. Stop that. You are wrong. You never listen. But healthy communication also includes encouragement. Children need words that build confidence. Words like, I believe in you. You are improving. Thank you for helping. I appreciate your honesty. I love spending time with you. Positive words strengthen emotional connection. Now let us discuss body language. Communication is not only words. Tone matters. Facial expressions matter. Actions matter. A parent may say, I am listening, but continue looking at the phone. The child notices. Children know when adults are truly paying attention. Eye contact, calm posture, patience, and attention communicate love and respect. Now, let us talk about fear-based communication. Some children fear speaking honestly because every mistake leads to shouting or punishment. So they hide things. They lie. They avoid conversations. And over time, trust weakens. Healthy communication creates honesty. Children become more likely to tell the truth when they believe they will still be treated with dignity. This does not mean removing consequences. It means creating safety for honest communication. Now let us talk about communication between adults in the home. Children learn communication by watching adults. If parents insult each other constantly, children absorb that behavior. If adults solve problems respectfully, children learn respect. Families teach communication daily through example. Children are always learning from what they observe. Now let us discuss something very important. Sometimes communication problems are connected to stress. Tired parents communicate harshly. Overwhelmed caregivers lose patience. This is why self-care matters in parenting. A stressed mind struggles to communicate wisely. That is why in the previous episode we learned, an empty lantern provides no light. Parents also need emotional support. Now imagine two homes. In one home, people shout constantly. Nobody listens. Mistakes lead to humiliation. Children fear speaking honestly. In another home, people talk respectfully. Problems are discussed calmly. Children feel heard. Parents guide with patience. Which home will produce emotionally healthier children? The answer is obvious. Family. Now let us make this practical. Here are healthy communication habits families can begin practicing today. 1. Listen fully before responding. 2. Speak calmly even